I always get scared of this bit when we say introduction. I'm like, trying to do the guest is, I'll just be like, Ollie, you do it if I'm a bit like nervous.
What's your intro? What do you do for your intro?
Hi guys, welcome back to the Last Ditch podcast. Isn't it?
Today we are joined by and then guest. Well, I mean, we kind of just thought we chat.
Hello and welcome back.
We chat to the guest on camera for like maybe a minute or so, and then kind of just lean into the intro from there, so it's like more natural, I suppose. That's what we do.
I normally just jump straight in. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chat. And we have two very special guests today, not just one. I'm a bit thrown off guard. It took a bit while to set up to be there, didn't it? I was like panicking, I was shit myself. But we got there eventually. So Dan, Oli, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks very much for having us.
So I'm synced.
I'm perfectly in sync for today.
Yeah. That's good. So I think you messaged me, was it last week, I think? About me trying to organise podcast?
It would have been about last week.
Yeah. Trying to organise it. It didn't happen last week, did it? Busy, whatever. Right. And then here we are. So yeah, I know actually off camera, but we'll talk about it on camera. So why did you message me about it then?
When we started this, I think it was like, well, I said to Ollie, when we started the whole thing, I said, whatever happens with this, no matter where it goes, whether it's a nothing thing or whether we get massive from it, I said, I always want to keep it to local. You know, I always want to help like the local area out and stuff. And I thought, because of obviously the charity match we're doing, we wanted to kind of get that out as much as we could. And I said to him, this would be a perfect kind of podcast side of it to go on. And it's somewhat different for you as well, because I don't think you've had like footballing podcasts or anything like that. Yeah. So that was kind of the biggest reason for it in that sense. Yeah.
No, I think I'm the same. Like I love to, even though I grew up in Carlisle and stuff, I like to showcase local businesses, local people and that kind of thing, because small place, everyone knows everyone, and a lot of people don't do shit. So like when somebody does something, I think it's like good to get them to talk about it and showcase, get people to understand and that kind of thing, really. And me talking about myself, which I don't really like doing, but I kind of do. It's like one of the things, I don't know if you've heard of the Elite Business Awards in Carlisle recently. So
I've heard the names thrown about, but I wouldn't.
Yes, the whole on Friday.
Right.
So like a couple of things that I've been nominated for is like the social media star. And also young male shaping Carlisle's future, 18 to 29-year-olds.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things with the nomination was the podcast and stuff, because that's something that I feel like I do differently to other people. Mm-hmm. It's like, everyone's got a business, but most people have got businesses. But like, how are you giving back to showcase or help other businesses?
Yeah, of course.
In the local area and stuff. So I think like this collaboration here is great because we can both help each other and grow together, because I think there's enough money and people around to all elevate each other, especially in such a local area where I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, why are they doing that? Oh, the fucking shit, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Everyone's got an opinion of, and then that's definitely something that we've
experienced since the start.
From starting this ever. But I always put on our Instagram stories, community, like even like people that are starting little businesses or whatever it is, I always put on an Instagram story. We've actually got a little highlight of like community kind of thing. And it's just like loads of different people. Like it's, you know, even like my friend's mum, she's got like a dog grooming business. And I just thought, I just put it up there. It's just so I've got like kind of.
Just help any way you can, don't you?
Yeah, because obviously I always said we want to use our platform. We use it for all sorts and that, you know, for good, you know, obviously. No bad. Good and bad. No, there's no bad unless it's Carlisle.
But yeah, so I think that's cool. So let's go into the free facts and start off with. Did you want to do 3 each or 3 combined? So maybe like 1 each and then 1 combined? Or have you got 1 combined? Or
I mean, I had 3, I think.
I think we thought 3
each. Do 3 each,
If you want to do 3 each. Do you want to start or shall I?
Do you want to do history or do you want to just like mix between?
I can do 3 and then 3 because it might be, otherwise it'll be here all night, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to go to watch football, don't we?
Yeah, watch Champions League, guy. So my first one is that I recently had a film that was selected to be shown at Caig Film Festival. It was my first like short that I released. So before me and Dan went into podcasting, I still am. I'm a filmmaker at heart. That's like my passion. That's like what I do the most. I like creating stories, putting them on screen, that kind of stuff. And we made this like short, like Guy Ritchie inspired, like gangster, like shoot 'em up short film, which we didn't really expect to like go anywhere or take off like very much. Like it was, looking back at it now, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it watching it back, but you're your own biggest critic, I suppose. But it got like a few thousand views on YouTube, and then I submitted it through Film Freeware, which is like this website everyone uses to like submit films to festivals, and I got this thing back and they're like, we want to download your film and show it at the festival. So we did. We got there and a lot of humility. I think we were on a totally different kind of level to the other films, and not in a good way. Like some of those other films, like absolutely unbelievable. Through brilliant like local film studios, like just take nothing away from them, they're absolutely incredible. But we were just kind of like, you could tell it was a student film, and it was awful. I hated it.
Yeah, yeah, but I suppose you know where you are and what level you need to get at, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, of course. That was it. It was like a motivator, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%.
Second one.
That's how we live, by the way. Like film, because
I was gonna say, yeah,
you were slagging off a shit film.
Yeah.
And then he went, come and join us. And I was like, no. But no, my cousin Ellie, she's down in London at the moment at uni, but I met him through her because they went to college together, did media. And what was the film called that you wanted to do? Because I did drama at school.
One Step Ahead, it was called.
Yeah.
It was a short that we made. This was like a year before I made my most recent film. And we needed like a main like antagonist, like a bad guy for the film. And she was like, yeah, my cousin could probably do it. I was like, yeah, sound. We'd like tried to contact so many people and nothing was working. So we got to the last resort. Yeah. And we picked him out. And you know what? To be fair to him, he did a cracking job for what we had and the resources that were available. And we just kind of kept in touch since then through like Carlisle United, and then I came to this.
I wanted to do the podcast, and Ellie was the one, my cousin, that pushed me to do. She was just like, just go for it. I was always like, I don't know. And she was like, just go for it. Like, just what does it matter? And I was always like, if I'm doing it, I want to do it with someone. Yeah. And obviously with him doing his media, I thought that's just like a no-brainer. Because he can do all the editing, because I couldn't. I'd still be on the first video.
I can do all the funky work. You can just turn up and talk. Yeah. I mean, my second fact, and I suppose it ties into what you were saying about me doing media. This year, or this season, I suppose, in football terms, I've been working with Gretna FC 2008 up at Raydale Park, doing like pitch side videography for them. And that came through you, to be fair. You're the one who got me to do it, really. We turned up for the pre-season friendly. I don't even think I actually ever told you that was the reason I made to do it, but we went for there. Carlisle played Gretna in a pre-season friendly, and we went to go and watch it. I'd never been to Gretna's ground before. I didn't even know that Gretna had a football team, to be completely honest with you, before this game had happened. Sorry if anyone from Gretna's watching this. And it was like, it was a different experience to the Carlisle games, smaller ground, but it was nice, and the club was good. The people were great, and you could tell from being there, they were very honest people. So I sent an email through. They had a friendly against Hibernian, it's like Scottish Premiership, so I did a game against them. So I emailed through, and then on the day of the game, Ian, who's like the head of media there, emailed me back, and he was like, I'm so sorry for the late reply. Can you come down tonight? I was like, well, you're not going to get the opportunity again. So I was like, yeah, fine, I'll come down tonight. So I literally just rocked up, brought me camera down with us, they stuck me in a high-vis, and the rest is history. Just went from there.
Oh, cool.
And it's been a very, very rocky season, to be fair. We're second bottom in our league. We've won twice all season. We're on 9 points.
They need to win on Saturday, or they're going down.
From 33 games played. And yeah, it's the last game of the season this Saturday, and it is against Edinburgh University, who are bottom of the league. We're on the same amount of points. So basically, whoever wins will stay up. Ooh, so no pressure.
Big game, big
pressure,
game.
But yeah.
It's more fun down at the bottom anyway.
Exactly. Well, after a season of having Carlisle down there, I'm not sure I can agree with you. But, yeah.
And what's the third one?
You know what? The third one's actually just completely slipped my mind as I was talking about the other one there.
Oh,
there we go, blank now. This is it. I'm bombing.
You said 3 off to me last night.
Yeah, I know I did, but I'm forgetting the third one.
Do you want me to say
mine? Yeah. You chat about yourself. I was going to say, I'll think about my ones.
Mine's weird. I've got a rod in my leg from where I broke my leg playing football.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
last year?
Yeah, last February.
Yeah.
I broke my leg playing. It was 5-a-side. She went to kick the ball. Some guy went through it. Honestly, like the sound was vile. Like literally, my leg just went. And the force I went round, and she saw my leg hanging off, and I remember lying there, and I was like, I couldn't stay, because when I was lying, there was a lad literally held it in place until the ambulance came in. And he held my leg the whole time. And my cousin came on, Ellie, who was watching us. My cousin was playing with us. She came on, and I just went, I don't care what it looks like. Do not tell me what it looks like, because I'm not looking at it. Freak out. She said, oh, it's all right, it's fine. My uncle came on and went, I was like, I don't need to know that. My mum put down, my mum don't, because I know my mum will freak out. She's like, oh, it's all right, it's fine. I mean, I had to get it all straightened out and everything, and it was horrible, man. Like, I was off work for about 6 months. It was like 3 months pretty much bedbound.
That's honestly, like, I used to love football back in the day. Yeah. I used to play for Carlisle when I was younger and stuff like that. Yeah. And the reason why I don't play football now is because I can't afford to get injured, you know what I mean? Work and stuff like that, I can't afford to be off work, even though, like, I played 5-a-side in Cardiff the day with my mate. And like, I miss it so much, but it's like, I can't, if I did that, I'd be fucked, you know what I mean?
This is like a big thing of kind of us doing this. I'm still nervous about doing the charity match, because I'm like, shit, that's like the first time of kind of going.
Since,
yeah, because I'm like,
That's
I don't
return.
want someone coming. It's like PTSD, isn't it? Almost like,
Yeah,
to go in for a tackle. So that's the first one. I got rod and screws in my leg, my right leg.
How'd you get through airports then? Just beep off.
Easy actually.
It doesn't. You went to Florida, didn't you?
I went to Italy.
Did it go wrong?
No, I went to Florida a few years ago, but like since I broke my leg, I've been to Italy and I've been to like Madrid and Barcelona, and none of the times I thought I was going to. But I think they put something into the metal they put in your leg in the rod. I think it's something that doesn't.
There must be a different sort of contract that doesn't set off metal detectors. Yeah.
I mean, what would they do? Like, what do you got in your leg? It's a rod.
I'll take it out and show them.
Cut me open.
Second one.
What was the second one? Oh yeah, I'm quite into older music.
Okay.
Like I know this. I do like some modern like tunes, but I'm like Elvis, Elton John, Queen, really? Michael Jackson, Oasis. Yeah. I love like all that kind of like. Maybe if people won't say Oasis are old, but they're in the 90s. You know, like
older in like relative.
Oasis and backward. That is like my genre.
Not
like
TikTok tunes.
No, do you know, honestly, sometimes you actually have to mind
another chance. I'm not.
Prom Queen thing. That has been in my head. Honestly, I can't get it out, man.
Nothing like that for me.
No, but normally, like if I'm sitting down, I'm chilling or whatever, that's the tunes that I go to. Elvis or whatever. Or,
would you listen to that in the gym then?
Yeah, do you know what I listen to? I listen to like, I know it sounds weird. I put the Rocky on, soundtrack on.
Really?
I love them tunes. I probably get
me going.
Sometimes I'll have like something random on, like Shrek soundtrack or something like that. Shrek 2 soundtrack.
On the deadlift.
Yeah. Bit of a, like, to be honest, sometimes I think, Christ, if they died on me or something and then my sat down,
be finished.
I also have to make sure it's poured off spot.
You get kicked out of the gym. You got
like any girls round, you'd be like,
oh my God, Shrek soundtrack. You're like, oh,
yeah. If they don't like you at your lowest, they don't deserve you at your highest. Do you know what I mean?
Third, I'm quite a big Disney fan. When you were saying about Florida, I've been to Florida loads when I was younger, and I absolutely, that's like my family's like favorite place to go on holiday. And I don't know, I'm like a proper Disney adult. Like I love the films. I love going to like the theme parks and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just, I think that's always just from when I was younger. I always loved Disney, and it's just kind of kept with us as I've got older.
What's your favorite Disney film then? That's a cliche question, but
I always go with The Lion King.
Like that's a classic.
That's
a good choice. I've watched it in years. Good film though, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. The podcast is like, which Disney films you like? Lion King, brilliant. Yes,
amazing. I love it.
I don't know if there's any outside. I quite like Tangled.
Yeah,
with Rapunzel. But some of the newer Disney films, which Arsenal has been like, I don't think they're as good. Some of them are all right. Like Coco's good.
It's like
Soul.
It's like the new Marvel films. The new Marvel films are a bit cack at all.
That's because we're getting older though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's because they're trying to like, they took the quantity over quality route. I think they're just like putting out loads of stuff about like
to make money.
Trying to make it all so they can catch up quickly to get into
exactly.
But it's like, I like like Marvel and like the Avengers. I'm not a fan of DC unless it's Batman. Yeah, I mean like the Dark Knight.
The new Batman.
I
think the new Batman was really good.
Oh my God! I thought it was brilliant. We went to watch me, my uncle and cousin, and he bought the tickets. 3-hour film this, and I went, what? And I didn't realize it was a 3-hour film. I'm thinking, I just thought he was joking. He was like, no, it is. And I was like,
it's 3 hours and like 12 minutes.
I was like, 3 hours. I would love going to the cinema, but that's a long time for Batman, especially. Say,
they didn't feel like 3 hours, and I watched it. I loved it. It's one of my favorite films, honestly, because I thought Robert Pattinson was going to be absolute drop, but he was really.
It was all right.
Really
but the Dark Knight's the one. It's Dark Knight Rises with Bane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dark Knight. That's quality. That's up there, probably like top 5 films.
Yeah,
with Heath Ledger.
So that's one of my favorite films, and I've probably said like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And then like Dark Knight, I put up there. But I'm not really like a big film guy. I don't really watch that. More like YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. What's your third?
It's come back to me. Recently started going into the world of football journalism. So I've been reporting on matches here and there. My most recent one, it was like the first proper one that I did, was the Scottish Premiership. It was Hibernian versus Livingston. Hibernian won 3-0. And in true amateur fashion, I was late to the game. It was, not a great first impression to make. So my train was late. Like first it was delayed like 30 minutes, as they always seem to be at the minute. Got into Edinburgh. It was still about 2 hours till kick off, so I was like, it's fine. So I was going to get some food, and then got a bolt from the station to the ground. And the guy couldn't find a place to park. And I'm trying to say to him, like, mate, just let me out. Let's go from here. I'll pay with it. He wasn't listening. It was just, I was in this car for 40 minutes. I have then got out the car, started, God, I just think my whole looked daft as hell. I started like running to the game. My shins have given way. Because I was the day before, because this was before this had happened, I was still in the gym, and I'd hammered on legs the day before.
What, you've been training the shins?
Yeah, training the shins.
We trained the day like chest arm training shins and
just
toenails.
Just honestly, bottom half legs for like lead. I was like waddling to the fucking ground, mate. This is like my first time ever doing this. I'm trying to look professional. I'm waddling to the fucking ground. I go through the press entrance, get up to my box. By the time I'm there, it's already 1-0 and I've missed the first goal. And I'm like, well, I can't write that in the post-match report. So I just blagged it and then saw the goal. But I didn't. I just made it very general, like such and such scored from such and such. It was like, I didn't make it too thing. But I'm aiming. There's a guy that I work with. He's absolutely brilliant. His name's Dennis Devlin. And he's been a massive help with that kind of stuff. He's tried to get me like accredited, and he's trying to kind of get me out there into that sort of world, so I can work on when I'm going to uni next year in Liverpool. So there's like a lot more stuff around there football wise. You've got your Liverpools, your Evertons, and you've got like Manchester just over, just a little while away. So I can hopefully do some of those games as well. But yeah, that's like I suppose that's like kind of the main route going forward, I think.
Yeah, that's exciting. Especially like round there. One of my mates from school, he went to Newcastle Uni, but then moved to Manchester, and he like did sports and stuff like that. He works for Adidas now, but he sports Newcastle. But like round there, there's so many teams you can go to matches for and stuff like that. Even like Tranmere and like lower
every
league
level,
and stuff like that.
Every level, there's teams everywhere.
So it's definitely a good area.
And you were saying that before. I've got a fourth fact. I am late to everything.
Who is? You are.
I'll see stuff and I like have an hour to get signed up. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll be like, I'll rush to get there.
Never on time.
Sometimes I'm on time to majority things, but that is probably a thing. If someone said he's done late, probably 90% of people go, yeah.
I think the only time you've been on time for something since I've known you is when we were going down to Wembley for the playoff final. I think that is the only time you were actually on time.
I was on crutches when I went to Wembley.
Because we were still waiting for Adam, because Adam had been at work and he was taking forever. So you were on time and Adam was late.
That's funny. No, I don't. The thing is, I think I'm like, for work, I'm on time because I do all my meetings on my laptop.
Yeah.
But if it's anything real life, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
Actually getting somewhere.
I'm quite good at the podcast.
Right. So what we both like growing up then? What did you enjoy at school? What would your mum and dad say about you?
Oh, I was a little nerd, mate. I was. Still am a little bit, I just keep true to myself. Stay true to myself. But yeah, like, I mean, I was like, going through like primary school, I was a bit just like, I don't obviously like at that age, you have no idea what you want to do. You just kind of taking day by day, just dossing about really. And then it got to secondary school, and like I made a few friends, like, and then I just stuck with that friend group the whole time. Pretty much, like I knew everyone, but I wasn't like mates with everyone. Do you know what I mean? I was just too much faff. Couldn't really be bothered with it. I think my if you ask my mum what she thought of us, well, my mum always said how proud she is of us, which is lovely. It's really sweet, and it was just like every single thing. I like. God bless. Honestly, I love my mum to bits, man. Mum, I love you, right?
I do as well.
Like we were watching it. You've never even met her as well. She's coming to the Gretna game on the last day of the season, so come and meet her there.
Right.
So. Yeah, no, my mum always tells me how proud she is of me.
That's nice.
And yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. It's a bit deep, really, because I know we're on like a really like it's a happy, like fun podcast. But when I was 11 years old, I lost my dad, and I think that's why my mum cares so much about kind of what I do. So I think if you ask my mum about me, she would just say, "I'm really proud of him." She doesn't care what I do as long as I'm doing some work, like doing some of myself, I suppose.
Are you happy?
Yeah, that's literally it. So, and because obviously I'm going to uni next year, she's a bit like, oh, she's moving away. I'm going to be on my own. But it's like...
Yeah, she'll miss you, definitely.
Yeah, she will. But I think she knows that I'm like I'm taking the right route for my thing. I think, and you know what, if you asked my mum what I was like, she'd say I'm a lot like my dad. I think that's probably the main thing you get out of it. I'm a bit gobby, probably a bit too much for my own good. And it's pretty much my only like main quality. The rest I can't just like... I'm like, I work hard. That's probably it. I'm gobby and I work hard. That's the two kind of, I suppose.
If you work hard, you'll get a long way, though.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard work beats talent, innit? You can be as good as you want, but if you don't let yourself to it, it's not going to happen.
Because that's all I want. It's just to make Dad proud, because I know they've made like lots of sacrifices for me and my brother, like growing up and stuff like that. So, like now when things are like going well and they can see like the progress, and like even though they haven't said it, it's just like little things. I'm like,
you just know,
I'm on the right path kind of thing, which is quite cool.
And you want to be able to like share that with them, don't you? It's like you want to give back to them for what they give to you.
Oh, definitely, 100%. What about you, Dan?
I don't know. I think I've always been like I don't know. I've always had this kind of like when people say, "Oh, he's such a nice lad, Dan." Like I've always had that like my whole life, just very likable. I think I'm a very likable person. I'm quite a friendly person. I'm quite.
Some people who watch us wouldn't agree. Like,
well, some people don't know me. So no, like you said, I think mom and dad was like seem to think, well, obviously they're proud of us and that stuff like that. What they do. You always feel like sometimes they just say it just for the sake of it, don't you?
Yeah,
They always, obviously,
I've got the wrong pen. But my mum, that disappointed me when I was growing up. Honestly, they were like, "You need to try harder." Oh my god, you're fucking dossing about.
I'll be nowhere near. Probably your academic side. I was much more like actually the physical side. Just get on with stuff. Like the theory side of stuff, like exams and all that, and like revising. That just wasn't me. Whereas my brother's not my brother's like he can get like he's active in that, but in terms of like revising all that, he could sit for hours and do it and be like, yes, and pass his exams where I'm like, I'd open a book and be like, right, you know what I'd do? I'd have the book next to us and I'd be, this is almost hard to be dad now. I'd be like, I'd have the book next to us, be doing it now. And even dad comes and says, yeah, fair. I'm like, I'm on page 26 now, so it's like, all right, okay. But yeah, no, I've definitely got a good discipline. I know that's like coming in later on, but definitely my discipline from my parents. They've like put that into my mentality and that has definitely come from them, which that's one thing that I think is like, I don't think you can
learn that.
No, you can't. It's like, it does come from within me, but definitely like, my dad was in the army, so everything was quite like, and sometimes like bollockings when I was young. Like, okay, not that. Because I think they sometimes forget like that side of, but I also look back on that and think, to be fair, that's kind of made me who I am. And like in school, when you say about school, like I was like very badly bullied, like, and I moved school for that. And I think everything that happens in your life just kind of makes you who you are. And I feel like all of that stuff's made me, when they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and all that stuff, but I definitely feel that way.
Yeah. And even at the time when you grow up, you don't think that though, do you? But when you reflect when you're a bit older, you think
you're in the moment, you're like, what am I doing? And it's just little like stuff that happens in your life, even though how bad it is. I always say this, do you like different things happen to me or yourself?
Yeah, of course.
It's like in the moment, you think, but then in years to come, you come and go, oh God, look how much I've come on from that.
It shapes you as a person, doesn't it? And helps you grow. Like all the bad experiences, even the good experiences, isn't it? It helps you navigate life in whatever direction kind of taken. What did you both want to be, or what did you both want to do? Was there any like aspirations, any dreams, any career paths? I had about like 5 different things. I probably could just like age it all the way up.
What, like each age, what you wanted
obviously
to do?
want to be a footballer.
Yeah, didn't we all?
I think, do you know,
that unfortunately didn't end well for either of us or any of us.
Well, if I hadn't broke my leg, I could have made it pro.
I would have been at West Ham if I didn't break my leg, so
No, I want to be a footballer, and to be fair, the footballer, right? I love Rooney and Ronaldo. They were my
Rooney,
David
Everton.
Beckham was, I think, the one that was like.
I loved him back in the day when I was young.
Skinhead. I remember looking at him going, why did you give me a skinhead back then? But it was Beckham. Because then he did the skinhead. I think that was like the thing.
I remember when I was about, I must have been young, on holiday in France, and I got like a headband when he had his long hair. I did it back and everything. Obviously, I've got brown hair, but
headband at least.
Yeah, I don't know. What else apart from footballer then?
Police officer, wants to be that.
I think every lad has had that,
My brother's actually a police officer as well.
Right. He made the dream come true then.
I remember at one point I wanted to be, like over in like Florida, like Disney parks, the dress up. I wanted to be one of them.
There's still time for that.
I wanted to be, oh my, you
can still do that. There's plenty of time. Yeah, crack on, mate.
Yeah, that always stands out to me. I think, what was that phase? But that was how much I love Disney. I was like, I want to just do anything in Disney.
I think you get sick of it, to be honest. There, I'm sorry if there's a little.
This is what we do, like podcasting. This is my dream job today. I said if I wasn't a footballer, a job within football, that's my dream.
That'd be good.
I mean, honestly, until
you live in the dream.
Until I started college, I didn't have a clue. Like, never really crossed.
Do you know when you were young, you didn't want to be?
I mean, there's like brief little bit. There was nothing that really like caught my eye. Like, I was just. That's
why you got glasses.
Yeah, even with the specs, I didn't catch my eye.
Thank you very much.
There was just nothing really.
Like, kind of thing.
Pretty much. Man. I was like, but it just got to a certain point, and I went to do an interview for the media course at Carlisle College, and I met one of the tutors, and he showed me the facilities there, and I was like, seems decent enough. I'll give it a crack. And literally within that first year of studying there, I was like, yeah, this is like my call. And this is what I want to do. Which it's very, very hard industry to kind of like stake your claim in. But I think it's massively rewarding if you do. So literally, as soon as I picked up a camera, I was like, right, I want to be involved in like some sort of like media passage. And then within the last year, obviously working at Gretna has kind of influenced it too. I was like, sports media. It's like I think that's kind of that and filmmaking are the two kind of main goals for me. Sports media, it's like you're part of the team just for that, all the hard work and the running and stuff. You know what I mean? You kind of just get to experience that with them, and you get to be part of that kind of collective and part of that club. And I even get that like from being at Gretna, like whenever I'm at the games and I'm setting up and stuff, I'll have like maybe 1 or 2 people from the crowd. Like you only get maybe 100 odd people at Gretna games, but even then, like you get a fair few people at the crowd being like, oh, I watched such and such that you did. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, if I can just keep making stuff like that where people watch it and they enjoy it, then I'm happy. Like that's all it is for me.
That's the weird part, isn't it? Like I didn't tell you this the other night. I was off for a night out somewhere. Oh, Carlisle podcast.
Get that all the time.
Football podcast.
Get it all the time.
And I'm like, what? It's weird that people recognize you from that. So I'm kind of like sometimes I like the attention I do, but in them instances, I'm like, I hate that.
Really?
Like when I went down to Penrith, I was going around there because I was like, I don't like that.
Oh, no, I don't mind
if
it.
Someone comes up to us and goes, oh, hi.
Yeah,
I love it that way. Even like grown men are going, oh, is it our lad's manager? I'm like, oh, I gotta done it.
Well, the thing is, because you think like, oh, maybe they're taking the piss a bit. But even if they are, though, they still know you. So you're one up, aren't you? They know you anyway.
Something right, though, aren't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. People are talking, that's it.
People, like you were saying before the podcast, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's good or bad if you put yourself out there. You have to be open to criticism and stuff.
Exactly. You take the rope with the smooth, don't you?
Yeah.
I remember we were at the Harrowby 3G. We were playing footy on a Sunday. And I'd been out the night before. I didn't get back to the until about 5 in the morning. I was hanging out my backside. And these like younger lads came up like wanting fours, wanting to play footy with us and all that. I was like, oh. I was like in any other state than this, perfect. I was in my at all, but I was like, I was so tired.
I love stuff like that.
You know what? I was dead chuffed that they came over to us because they were like, oh, you can we play footy with us? So I was like, that meant that. Like honestly, I had no problem with it at all.
I want to go in there. What was it when I scored and they all ran over to us?
Yeah, I know. He thinks he's the second coming of Ronaldo. He's got a bunch of 12-year-olds coming around and going, oh, you're so minted footy. I was like,
they ran over like about 4 of them.
They were suing with him. I was like,
like, get on.
I was like, what a show. What a show. Puts it on for the fans, doesn't it?
You got to, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did the podcast come about then?
Do you want to tell a story or should I?
Yeah. Basically, we started it by, well, like I said, my cousin, she'd said to us, like I'd always said about wanting to do some kind of podcast for years, but it just never got, I never had anyone that I would look and go, I won't be doing 100% of it. Do you know what I mean? Like it'd be, I pretty much would be doing it. The other person would come talk and I'd be like, how'd you edit it? And it just never seemed right. And I was going to do it with my cousin Adam, but I was like, it'll be the same crack. But then I don't even know how it came about you doing it. I don't know if Ellie had said, oh, why don't you ask Oli and see if he'd do it? And at the time, to be honest, Oli was this guy I was looking to think.
Like we hadn't spoke much of that.
This is not someone I'd hang around with.
I
absolutely love him to bits now, but honestly, like this is just not someone. This is not.
No, you wouldn't. You know what though? I think if people looked at us, they probably wouldn't think that.
No.
We're two very different people, like both aesthetically and like personality wise.
I've got a younger brother like his age, and I feel like he's literally my adopted younger brother.
How old are you then?
I'm 24. I'm 25 in July,
and I'm 19.
So 24 and 19.
Yeah. So I when I get like I say like I'll be talking to someone, I'll say, oh yeah, my pal Dan that I do the podcast with, and like, how old is he? Like, he's 24. I was like, how did you become
mate? And he's married and got 3 kids.
Yeah, he's paying his mortgage off. I was like, he's 24. I was like, oh, that come about then. I'm like, no, you know, just.
Ellie's basically my cousin. She was like the neutral kind of.
She was the middleman,
and that was kind of it. I think to be fair, last year, if I'm on, like we lost my aunt to like her mum. And that was kind of the way, I feel like it's depressing now. We're talking about death now, but it's just, that was definitely for me last year, the kind of thing of, I mean, she was 49, absolutely like just suddenly
young, yeah.
And it was like that to me scared me. And then I broke my leg a month later and I thought, this year
it happens in freeze.
And then I just thought, this is like, life is way too short. Like I want to go traveling more. I want to go, you know, but not like, I don't do the backpacking traveling. I want to just go to more places. See the world more. And Ellie was the one that was like, just go for it. I was like, I was more bothered about what people are going to think. I was like, what about? She's like, who cares? Just do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least you've tried it. And then I did it with you. I think, to be honest, it was on the back end of like what happened with my auntie. That's why we kind of did it, because it was just like, fuck it, do it. If it doesn't happen,
you might as well. And just snowball from there, didn't it? It was like, but I mean, when we first started it, we were doing like the kind of like this kind of format, like the sit down talk and stuff. And it was going well for an amount of time, but I think it got to a point where we were like,
I said it's not working. There's something different.
Our views were just like dropping. We get like maybe like 80 views on a video or something like that. And it was just like, that's not the levels we want to be at. So when the new American owners of Carlisle United, the Piatak family, when they came in, we went to their first game that they'd covered. You'd interacted with Tom Piatak beforehand. I remember at the fans forum.
Yeah.
And he got on the phone with me afterwards. He didn't tell me any details because they had to keep it confidential. But he was like, they're absolutely unbelievable. This is brilliant. So I was like, right, okay. So their first game in charge, we went down.
And we did like a vlog kind of thing.
We just interviewed fans. It was filmed in portrait because it was originally formatted like TikTok and Instagram and that. But we thought, put it on YouTube, just see what happens. And then that video got like 1,000 views in a week. And at that point, that was like way higher than anything we'd had before.
I think it was less than a week.
I think it was
like a weekend.
It might have been, yeah.
Maybe we should start, and like I was always like a thing like, oh, I don't know about vlogging because I don't like going to games and filming it. And I know a lot of people don't.
Some people like opinions on
which is fine. I completely get it. Because
yeah.
to be fair, before I did this, I didn't like really match day vlogs. I used to think going to a game and filming yourself. And to be fair,
I think there's, there's
the other one that films the most. I'll say to him, like, look, you need to.
I think there's a certain way to conduct yourself if you're doing a match day vlog. If you stood up with the camera like this in front of everyone, blocking people's views, like I think that's
I'd say we do it before, we do halftime, we do the finish. In between, we just film a little bit.
We literally just watch the game, but I film like some parts of the B-roll, and then we'll give our opinions at halftime and afterwards. I think a lot of people use our videos like angles for like the goals and stuff because you get it from like the paddock stand, and there was some comments on the video when we had a game against Lincoln C. We had comments on there, and they were like, "Oh, thanks for filming like the Lincoln goals with really good angles." Like, and it's like even just providing.
I thought that was shit else. I didn't reply to that.
No, it seemed genuine to me. I was fussed. I was like, either way.
But obviously, we've been a Man U fan as well. I did the Man U Bayern game, and I also went obviously with Barcelona. I did Barcelona and Napoli. I've got to vlog that. I was like, that would just be just somewhat different because we are a football vlog. We're not a Carlisle United podcast. We are a football podcast
in general. Yeah.
Well, it's like what we said was we're doing the Barcelona thing. It's like it's that international side as well. It's not just. You cocoon to that. You can go out.
Anywhere you want.
Go anywhere you want. You can do whatever you want.
Norway for a third-tier game, and I've vlogged that, man. Like, anything.
He told me, he said, I should film the Aston Villa Man U game because I went down to that after the Fleetwood game on Boxing Day, was it?
Yeah, Boxing Day, played Fleetwood.
And obviously, Villa were 2-0 up and Man U won 3-2. He made a vlog and he said, I trust you. And then I went to the Man U Liverpool FA Cup game the other week. Yeah. And he said, do it. I said, no. And to be fair, I even said to him that after, I said, you know what? I'm glad
when Amad Diallo scored in the last minute.
Yeah.
Oh, that was unbelievable. I genuinely, 3-3, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was like, so I thought, but I'm glad I didn't vlog that because I think certain matches are like, you want to enjoy it. I was just me and my dad and I thought, you know what? I just can't be bothered with
You wouldn't trade that for a vlog.
You wouldn't. And I get the Carlisle ones are fine because obviously it's a bit of fun in that. But
they're every week anyway.
The odd one that's maybe a bit out there or like you can't get to all the Champions League games, they're the ones we like to do it.
Highlight and stuff.
Everton, I'm just reading this to Everton because I know they've got a channel, Toffee TV, and they do like straight after the game. So let me just get it up on here.
Well, like fan reactions and stuff.
That kind of thing.
I've seen that guy. He goes on like the overlap.
Head and Baz.
Baz.
Let me just get it.
He seems like actually.
It's like with the AFTV lot they do it as well, don't they?
Yeah, so like,
are they stopped off TV now?
No, I think it's still going. It's just because like all like the.
I saw someone on YouTube saying the downfall of TV.
All the main ones aren't on anymore, so no one. That's all it is.
So they'll do some match reaction.
Right, okay.
Then they'll do the 3 talking points.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll do like the final word, and then they'll do player ratings as well.
Yeah, so that kind of thing. Player ratings are
There's Carlisle podcast, like CUO4 does them.
Yeah.
Blue Army TV. Like some of these lads like do the kind of analysis beforehand, the leading up to it. They don't do a vlog and they'll do the analysis.
Yeah, that's what they do. They do the actual vlog. Yeah.
I don't want to do any stuff like that. We didn't even want to do the vlogs. That's what I'm saying. Like when we started, we just wanted to be podcast talk, but then the vlog, it was almost like the vlogs were forced on us almost. It was like, this is where the views are kind of thing. Like,
do you know what you should do? Like I said this, I can't remember who I was saying it to, but you should go down before the game, get like a microphone. Oh, sorry, that's my fucking Slack. You should get a microphone and interview fans before the game.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
That's what we did for our first one,
Yeah, that was the Charlton one we did.
Yeah, post it on TikTok because other people do it, but Carlisle would be ideal for that. Yeah. You get loads of fucking views for that. And you get funny reactions. And
you can repurpose it, or you can put it in the video on YouTube, you can repurpose it for TikTok, put it on Instagram. You can
and at the end of that video, that Charlton video, I asked Ryan Edmondson, I said, would you be down for coming on the vlog, on the podcast?
Yeah, that was it.
And that was literally the first person. I mean, I'd said to Jenna and Nick, who like part owners, I'd asked them when I first met them all. This is before we even started the podcast. And I'd said, would you come on when, hopefully it goes through for you? And they're like, yeah, we'd love it. But that was never set in stone. It was
kind of just an
opinion. If it goes through, we can. And it was almost like, we'll work it up. Edmondson, I just went, do you want to come on, Paul? And I mean, it was younger. It was like, it was 22. It was
21.
It was 30.
I do that.
He was like, yeah, I'd love that. And that was the first time I come out. And honestly, that was just
brilliant.
That was, I think, where, although you say about the chart on the Edmondson one was where we got the subscribers on.
Yeah, definitely.
That just boosted it. And the Piatics and that, it was almost like this. The amount of people I spoke to and they said, you do such a different side because it's like you do the visuals for the podcast, you do the match day vlogs, you do the audio on Spotify.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not trying to on all, but we're genuine lads. Like we like football. We just rap about stuff. It's not, we don't take ourselves seriously. It's just, and I like that. I think I like that about it. I've always said, I know I don't want to change. I don't want to be like, professional. It's like, I want to have a laugh, I want to have a joke.
I think there's there's enough creators like that in like the Carlisle space. Like, and you know what though, the lads that do it do a really good job. Like I watch like Seawolf, for example, like you said, he does like match reactions and like he goes maybe a bit more into depth, like analysis wise. And I watch his videos, I absolutely love stuff like that. I just like couldn't do it myself.
He does them trailers, doesn't he, for them? Like he does these like
he builds them up proper. He builds
like building up to summer. Like he's done them at the end of like seasons or the start of seasons or when the Piataks came in. Absolutely unmatched, like they're unreal.
He's class.
But then also the Blue Army podcast who were doing the charity match against they're another podcast, but they just do the audio. So I think that visual side, like if I'm ever watching a podcast, I say watch it. If I'm ever going to put a podcast on, I always put in the visuals if there is. I can listen, but I prefer the like sit and watch it.
You get a feel of people.
I've said that to you lots of times.
You can kind of tell.
We did it on Zoom once, the podcast, and I went never again. I said I'd almost rather not do it ever again. So like. You can't.
Was that one of us had COVID or something? Or something like that. You did it over Zoom, and like it's all right. It was all right, but like it was not what we wanted to be doing. Like you know,
it makes the difference making extra effort and doing it in person.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like if we did it over Zoom or whatever, like we wouldn't build the relationship or friendship we have today. I mean, you don't get a feel of like what people are. What's making them take.
I know myself. Put podcasts on, and it's like the thumbnail looks. When you click on it, and it's a Zoom, and you're like, oh. Yeah, I'm straight back off. I'm like, not watching that. Whereas if it's like this, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
But it's like the interactiveness, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Then how have kind of things progressed then from the podcast to doing the charity match and that kind of thing? I'm interested to hear about how that kind of
first 2 months, I would say, you know, man, I'm just going to say, the first probably 2 months, it was like slow builder, and literally over December and into the new year, we got about 400 subscribers.
December was
back to back. It was
peak, mate. So like, far, it was amazing.
I was like, I've hit a goal. Can we get here? Jokingly. And we did. We what?
It was like
4,700. Like,
we were building it like 100 at a time. So we reached, I think it was like we hit 200 and then it went from there.
I actually said if we can reach
300 by the end of the year.
300 by the end of the year. And that was when we, no, actually, 100. And then I went, can we get 300?
And we finished the year on 600 subscribers.
That's so good.
We started in the end of September.
I was out on New Year's Eve. I was out in Walkabout. I was in this morning. I was absolutely steaming. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm just seeing numbers go up and up and up. And literally on like the pinpoint of the turn of the year, we hit.
Someone filmed it, didn't they? And they sent it to us. They tagged us on Twitter and they were like, the screen recorders of them being the 600 subscriber.
Yeah, that
was something like that.
That was my mate, Bray. He does like vlogs like for Nottingham Forest. He was like the 600 subscriber to the channel.
Cool.
And I put something on the story. I was like, if we reach so many subscribers, I'll do a Jaeger bomb for. I was meant to say I'll do a Jaeger bomb for each 100, but actually I said I'll do 4 Jaeger bombs for 400. So it's like a 4 for each 100. So I was like, I'm glad that I never ended up doing it because it would kill me. But I almost put myself in a very deep hole there. But yeah, December to January, and like I think it was like we were just growing exponentially. It was unbleasable. Yeah.
So when you see the progress, it's more motivating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you first start, it's hard, but then
I think we stagnated a little bit, haven't we?
Just
stagnated.
Yeah, well, at the minute,
I said to him,
it's impossible to keep going up.
Yeah, exactly.
The way I see it though is at the start, we were stagnating on 80, 90 views. We get 1,000 views a video.
Yeah.
As a stagnate point, like that's brilliant. Like and that does not faze me at all. No. The fact that we still get those numbers and we still get the people watching us and the people interacting with us in public, and that's a stagnating point. Brilliant, man.
And the charity match, it's like that'd be brilliant for that. Like we're both big on mental health stuff, so it has to be for that. Like it has to be mental health charity. And it was like when we started it off, we were like, who do we want to do it? Like what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Oh, like a football match. Like, but who do we do it against? We can't just do it against our pals and go because no one's going to come.
No one's going to know.
Right? Who else is in the space that we could get like a? And we rattled a load of different people off. And I said, what about I can't even remember how we got into contact with Blue Army podcast. And we ended up just saying, would you be down for doing it? Like, oh yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And it literally just kind of made itself from there. And I said, well, ask like, I'll see you for he's on our team. Like he's playing for us. Like we just put out kind of like, originally put out who wants to play for the teams.
Yeah.
Like we put that out. If you want to play, get in contact. And to be honest with you, we put that out and within about half an hour we had the team because a lot of my pals were like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, so we started it. They put one up and there was like people that contacted, I'll play. More like, oh, we've got the team and we can't play.
Yeah, we felt really bad.
Like people started getting like, oh, you know, people started getting a bit like thinking we were saying against them, like, oh, you're definitely not playing. It was like, it wasn't that at all.
We just had too many players.
Our team was set. And it was like, I said as well, I would rather, and being funny, I'd rather a team full of my pals and my family,
people that we know,
and other supporters channels and that, than just random people. Like as much as these people probably subscribe, brilliant. Like I want like my nearest, our close friends and family, because you do want that.
I think it's like, it's giving it back to them, giving them the experience to play in this, like, because it's not like the playoff final at Wembley by any means, but it's a match. We're hoping to get like maybe 100, 200 people there, and that in itself is an experience enough, and it's kind of helping give back to the people who have kind of given us a bit of a leg up and supported us to the point that we're at.
And it's like bringing a full circle to kind of like doing the mental health charity of like, you've raised money while having a bit of fun, and obviously
the podcast was kind of started off the back of wanting to do something for yourself mentally, wasn't it? After the year
it was.
So it's kind of a full circle.
Kind of the full circle of background. Like, obviously, you kind of, we talk about men's mental health a lot on
of course
the channel and stuff like that.
Obviously, we've got ties to Andy's Man Club as well. They do a great job.
Yeah, I go there on like a Monday. More for support for my cousin and my uncle, but I go because it's like, crack with the lads. It's like such a nice kind of environment. To be fair, I would say like anyone that's ever wants to go down Andy's Man Club on a Monday night, 7 o'clock at the old Newman School.
I've never been, but I've been making a plan to. I do need to come. I'll come with you at some point. It's brilliant.
Like, it's just people sit down like it's like this stigma, I think, of like, you go down, everyone's going to sit in a circle and be like, I want to kill myself. You know, it's like, not that. Like it's that, like, no. You got, I mean, some people are obviously,
that's just
majority of the time, it's just like, people just want to come down. How's your week been? Yeah, it's been shit. It's like the social side of it. There's tea, biscuits and all that. I go for the biscuits, man. No, but it is brilliant. It's immense what they do, to be honest.
I think, for me, like the podcast is my therapy. You know what I mean? Because like, I speak about stuff that I wouldn't normally speak about. And like, because I work from home by myself all the time. I'm in my head all the time, you know what I mean? So it's like getting stuff out. And like, I'm not depressed or anything, but I go through tough days and stuff like that. So,
like everyone does.
Especially I think as men, there's a lot more pressure, isn't there?
Definitely.
Like, to not share stuff.
And I think recently it's been a really good job that stigma's kind of started to fade away a bit, but obviously there's always going to be that. And I think, especially in the space that we're in football, it's still massively stigmatized. Even there's been multiple campaigns about it, but I think
look at Dele Alli last year. He came out, didn't he, about
nobody would have had any clue that he was going through that.
But I always say this to you, and I always go like, I come mental for it because I'm like, when people giving stick to footballers, and I've said this, look, they're going to get stick. The footballers, they're on money that some people can't even think of. Fair enough. But so my standout ones is Harry Maguire. I think what he went through is disgusting. As a human being, it's like for
people target
the amount of like, it's just you think. His mental stability is like unmatched, I think, in terms of footballer. But recently, Sam Lavelle for Carlisle has got
a bit of a scapegoat. And
I went on and I said, it's funny because all these other players are on the pitch, but he's the one that's getting targeted. And I think that you've got to, you remember there is someone behind, you know, they're a footballer and money, they're playing for your football club, brilliant, and they can get stick. But I think when it goes past that stick and it's like constant, he's shit, he's this, he's this. And you think how their families are looking. Like I would hate if my brother played football team and I was looking and he was getting stick and getting slayed and hate stuff and all this shit. And you think it's mental. Like say, obviously Dele Alli, like the stuff he came out with, you think that is just standalone. You have no idea what's going on.
You wouldn't have had any clue, would you? You wouldn't have had any clue.
When you said, it's for Dele Alli with us, and I was like, what? I thought he was joking. I was like, like that,
it just didn't sound real. Like when it came out, there was so much of it. But I think
that's that kind of,
I think because I think there's a very fine line between
performance,
criticism and abuse. Like, you know what I mean? You can criticize a player all you want. If they've done something bad, like even you said about Sam Lavelle, he's made a few mistakes this season. You can criticize the mistakes and criticize him as a player even, but when you start going at him as a person and abuse,
that's what I don't like. It's like, it's just a performance goes up, but it's like, you are shit. It's like, right, but why? Like, say why he's actually like, what has he done to do that? Why is there other players that could have, taken the stick a bit much? But I just think it's, but even in our podcast, we've got stick.
No, of course.
It
comes in waves, man, but all of it. It's like,
I'm on the like, I used to be like, I take everything to heart. I'd be like, well, not everything, but I take stuff to heart. I'd be like, shit, that's what the thing is. So now I'm like, I literally do not give a shit what you think about me. Like, I've had kind of like mentality, like, I don't really care what you, if it's good, brilliant, thanks. If it's not good, I'll work on it and I'll see what's,
say what you want.
Like, that's the thing. Like, if it's your close friends or family and they're saying something, maybe I'll take on consideration there.
Oh yeah, of course.
But if someone doesn't know,
comment on a YouTube video.
They don't know anything that goes on.
Exactly.
But it is hard because, like, say if you open yourself up to this and it's new and you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, you do take it a bit personally, but
it takes you by shock, doesn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. I love the ones when people say, oh, it's mint what you're doing. Like, I really like what you're doing.
Yeah.
They're the ones I love.
Brilliant.
The ones that like,
man.
We've had people on Twitter, certain ones,
mate,
the same people.
So many people on Twitter. There's like,
and I just go, Twitter's toxic, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a select few people who just keep going at as well. I won't name, but it's like
3 people, and it's just
have you got now better to do? No, but it's like, have you not got like a day job, or have you not got?
Like, I laugh at it. I've messaged him and gone,
Have you seen that?
I'm like, what the, what is that like?
They'll just send us something like, have you seen it? And to be fair, there's some that I'll look at and I go, it's actually quite funny, to be fair. I won't get upset about that. That's quite good. But yeah.
To be fair, there was some, we put the charities, I found it hilarious, right? There was, we put the charities in
it was like the old
and one of the lads that gives a stick, he was like, he replied and he was like, was it William Gallas? And he something like said for Chelsea, he was like, Gallas threatened to score own goals against Chelsea because he wanted to leave or something like that. And he read it and he tagged Dinny on the bottom.
No, he said me if I played for the last ditch.
And I actually laughed. I said, that's fucking.
Sometimes you just got to take your half.
Yeah, and I think I replied to the guy, I said, that's actually.
Yeah, well done.
But like, there's sometimes when you don't know how, if you, like you said, I'm not depressed, but you can have shit days. If you see him coming,
if you're having a shit day and you see that, then
you think it shouldn't affect you. But I'm like, it is. Like that's playing on my mind thinking, is that what everyone else is thinking about?
No, exactly.
You know, it's like you can't, if there's I could get 1,000 good comments. If you get one bad comment, you'll
sticks out on it. And and I agree with you because it's a fact. Twitter is a toxic place. And honestly, if we didn't need it to market the podcast, I probably wouldn't be on it, if I'm being completely honest with you, because it's just full of the most spiteful people who have nothing better to do than just slew abuse.
But because they'll give you the sticker online, you'll see them in person.
And they'll
walk past your head down, you think, big manner, keyboard warrior.
It's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally different behind the screen. And it's not saying that, if we see someone in public who doesn't like our podcast, we're going to leather them all this way. It's like
someone saw you in public, didn't they? They give absolutely berated.
Yeah.
And there was defense said, look.
I was going to say, actually, I'll say this. So there was, I'll come on over. So there was a game in December that Carlisle United played. We played against Cheltenham, who were one of the only teams below us in the league at the time. And we lost 1-0 to a goalkeeping error. And at the end of the game, I'm sat there and I'm thinking, fuck me, I pay so much money to come and watch these play. It's the only thing on a weekend that
you just absolutely lost your head.
And he went for it. I absolutely lost my head and I'm just giving him. I was like, and looking back on it, I'm thinking, I look like an absolute
people were looking in the paddock.
And people were looking at me, and you know what? Fair enough. They probably should have, because I was making a right state of it. But then I actually, because it was at that point that the podcast was growing quite well.
And I said to you,
I was like, right, fuck, say something, cover my back, put it out there. I was like, look, act like a bit of a twat, look like a bit of a twat. You know, that just happens in football sometimes.
Oh, he did. It was like, like Rashford or something.
Well, you know when Rashford makes a mistake,
this is not
a column, a paragraph.
And I looked at it and I thought, what? I said to him, I said, you represent the podcast when you go to these games. If players are looking at coming on to us and they see you giving it the big ones. I'm not going to I was going to say it wrong way. I thought they're not going to,
but you know what?
Stand out, you know what I mean?
I think I gained a lot of humility from that experience, because I think it was like, look, people actually like watch it and people actually look at what
someone
you think.
retweeted, didn't they?
So this guy reposted it saying like on YouTuber apology about having a go at a Carlisle game. This same bloke sees me at Fleetwood on Boxing Day, literally a few days after that game. And he was like, he said something, you're not going to do another apology, are you? I was like, what? No. And he
saw you, mate. I just looked, I went, and you went, you're going to be paddling with us now.
That was it. I was like, you're my mate now. He's like trying to shake me down, and I'm like, all right, pal. I was like, look, I've not got an issue with these guys. Everyone's got an opinion in football, but if you're going to say something on Twitter, and at least you come and actually like have the same kind of energy in person. You know what I mean?
It was Calvin as well, because when we scored, I think he got dropped. I'm sure he was on the deck.
So was I, to be fair. But it happens all the time.
That's what it is, isn't it? Like some people can give it and you're all right, and you think, I'd almost rather you were addicted and going, I'd almost rather and go, it's sweet, thanks.
At least you give it to in person. Yeah.
So then talk about the charity day. How can people come down, get tickets, etc.?
So tickets are dead simple. You can get them on Skiddle. There's a link in all of our bios on social media. So it's in my personal account's bio. It's in the Instagram account's bio. It's on the Twitter account. We've put TikToks about it. Absolutely everywhere on our socials. You can find it on @TheLastDitchPod on Instagram. That's like the kind of our main route of marketing it.
What should people expect on the day? What have you got in store for people?
I've got the number 7 shirt.
Straight away. You're a big Ronaldo fan then?
Yeah.
See, I'm Messi over Ronaldo.
Yes, thank you. So am I. Me too. I mean, we can't promise.
Probably the Man United side of it's made.
Yeah, if you weren't Ronaldo, I'd be questioning it.
Yeah. But I think it is also like, I mean, I know people that are Man U fans that are Messi fans and that, but I think Ronaldo's just in it. But I was like, I need the number 7 shirt. I was like, I don't care.
I think you did it straight away, but I think we can't promise incredible football, because But there are some lads, to be fair, who I'm thinking are really good.
It'll be whatever it is. It'll be a good day.
It's a mixed bag. It's like some lads are really good, some lads are a bit cack, me included. But if anything, like Dan said, if nothing else, it'll be a good day. It's a nice day out, giving kind of our friends, our family a chance to come watch us, and anyone who watches the channel to come and watch us.
We want all of it. I mean, we're not going to get all our subscribers. We want to get as many of them down. Just to kind of show them to go, right, we've got them in our support and all that kind of stuff. Just as many people raise money for charity. We're trying our best to kind of like market it as we go, making a few different connections that way. But yeah, the long and short of it is just hoping it's going to be a really good day for everyone involved. Sure. Give everyone a day to remember, especially because a lot of our supporters, Carlisle fans, not been a great season for Carlisle supporters. No. So we're hoping to kind of give a nice little end off to kind of the football calendar, as opposed by watching us come down. We've got some like special guests coming as well, Dan. Yeah. So there will be special guests there that we've organised.
Basically, if they think Carlisle United is the worst football they've seen this season, they fucking won't be by the end of
Everton.
It won't be. Yeah, they watch Everton. No, they should watch us instead.
Some of the can expect if our score is given it, and definitely has to.
I won't be there. I will not. I will not be there. If you see, I will not be there.
Yeah, definitely doing it.
And it's 18th of May, yeah?
18th of May, Saturday, 18th of May.
Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. Doors open at 1. So get down as early as 1 and you can get in. The bar opens at 1 as well for anyone who's wanting a pint or two.
No. Yeah. And then, so I prepped you for these, didn't I? Did I say, what did I say? Biggest mistake, biggest regret, or greatest strength, greatest weakness?
Yes. Yeah.
So I remember saw that on the message. What we're saying with these ones, and then we'll talk about.
So you want a biggest, what do you want?
Greatest strength or greatest weakness? What would you say each of yours? You can say within the podcast or personally, up to you.
I can think of mine. Do you think?
I can think of mine. I thought, but you can think of one for me.
I can think of yours. I can think of mine if you want me to go first. What do you think? Or
go for it.
Yeah. Biggest weakness is, and to be fair, it was. I don't know if it's much of a thing anymore, but I think it's similar to you. I used to take criticism to heart, like all the time. I wasn't able to see it from like an objective point of view. I would think if someone's calling my work bad, they think I'm shit. And then that's just like the long and short of it. But it was when I was studying film in college, one of my tutors, this guy called Paddy, he would literally, if I made a bad film, I'd fucking know about it. He would just absolutely leather it. But that was amazing. Like it genuinely, like it was the best way to kind of shake that off me. But I still let it get to me at times. Like someone will say something and I'll look at that and I'll go, what are you talking about? You don't know anything about this or that. But I'm thinking, they're not criticizing me as a person. Like they're just saying this could be better, or like I didn't like this about it. But yeah, I probably do let the criticism get to me a little bit at times. As much as I kind of put a face on of like I'm not bothered. But it's like you said before, if you're having a bad day and you see like criticism or a comment like that, you think that's just shite. Like I just can't bother with it. If I was talking about like a sort of strength for work ethic, probably I think it's like regardless if it's something that I'm new to or if it's something that I've known for ages, I'll always just give it 100%. Because you're not going to know if you're any good at it if you half-arse it. So yeah, I work hard at everything that I do. Doesn't always see the best results, but it never is that simple. But yeah, I think my work ethic's like probably my own personal quality that I'm the most proud of. Like I know coming out of anything, whether it went good or bad, I've given it 100%.
I think as well, if you try something, you learn as well. Like what's worked, what hasn't, especially being 19 as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking 28, I'm old. So it's like when I was 19, I was at uni just like bossing about drinking, girls, whatever. So like if you're doing something, like you'll be learning so much more than other 19-year-olds, and then you'd like to think in like 2 years' time, you'll be way further ahead, and you think, oh well, wish I knew this sooner, kind of thing. So
the greatest weakness is that fan at that.
Getting sorted, right? That's sorted. Yeah, physical weakness is my haircut. That's me, my own physical weakness.
And your wrist.
On my wrist. Cheers for that.
So Dan, what are you saying?
Greatest weakness. I don't know. Like, you kind of saw mine. I was saying on the way. I was like, I definitely used to take everything. Like I'd take criticism or someone didn't like us. I'd be like, well, why don't I like us? Why didn't this and that? But like now I have got like almost like a thicker skin to be like, if you don't like us, you don't like how that is, then you're not in my life. Like it is what it is. Like I don't own people around us that I'm like, I don't know if is that like a strength to a weakness? I mean, that's kind of my weakness in a sense.
That you've gained from weakness.
But probably a set weakness. It depends in criticism. I can take criticism. I can. But depends who from and on what. So when he's giving me criticism about how to kick a ball, you know, and he shouldn't even pass.
I had a go at him at training last night and he absolutely exploded at me. It was brilliant. Oh, it was great.
He turned around to us and he was like, we were doing this like passing drill, and he passed it and he went miles past this person.
Yeah.
And I turned around, what did I say?
You just went, oh, can't hell, looking at me like, and I
that joking.
I just turned to him and went, focus on yourself, lad. And he absolutely exploded at me. I thought he was going to come and welt us. I was like, oh, this is great.
Focus on yourself. Of course, you drip or something like that.
He was like, you give it a big lick.
But just like in that moment, I think, what am I doing? Like, you know, so that's that. I probably, like, I struggle in that sense.
I think I'm like that in some senses. Like, say, if somebody gives me feedback, even feedback or criticism, and like they're not either on the same path or further ahead, I won't take that on board.
No,
because I think like you don't know, like
exactly
what, like in whatever, like personal business, you don't know what I'm trying to do or where I'm trying to be. And like, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but I'm not going to take that feedback on board.
It's like genuinely, probably for me, gym and football. If someone that isn't kind of on that level with me, like people are beginners or strong, or I'm training with them, fair enough, fine. Or someone that's just as good quality with us football wise, fine. But for people, like you said, people are like, that's not Chris.
Thing is though,
but I'm just like, oh God, really?
I get that, but also
I can't take that.
Because I used to be like that with like filmmaking and stuff like that. But these things, when it comes to like learning something, it isn't always like as linear as that. Like,
you criticize me just because a lot with decision making in the game.
Just because someone's further along than you in a certain thing, that doesn't mean that actually they know more than you to an extent. Like they might just see like chance by luck.
And looking back, probably my decision making in football isn't like, it's probably my weakness, to be fair. But at the moment, when he was
you were that at the time, thinking, what are you talking about?
Pass the ball. And I'm thinking, you're telling me my decision making. But I said to Josh, I think it was last night, I said, to be fair, I said, had maybe Josh said it to us, I maybe would have been a bit more like, okay, I think it was because I was trying to tell you how to do it. And then you're like, oh, your decision making's
this is what I'm saying when I mean, like, I think you've got to be more like open-minded to that it isn't. It's not always as like a linear path of like, whoever's further along knows the most, because like sometimes it is like that. Like different areas.
It's hard to kind of, from people that like, you don't know what, it's different types of training, isn't it? It goes, you should do it that way, you should do it that way. And you think, yeah, but I want to do it this way.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't take bicep curl tips from me, would you? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's fair enough. To an extent.
No, but strength then strength.
Yeah, strength is definitely my mentality. That is like my mental strength is 100% is my biggest strength. My actual strength, but like genuine, but like my mentality.
Why would you say that?
I just think it's sort of like the sub story, and I know people would have had it worse than me, but I've had a lot of like, especially through my teen years and into my early 20s, I had a lot of shit. I had like obviously the bullying, stuff like that, other things that happened. Like I did a breakup.
We've all been there. All been there.
You haven't had a girlfriend?
I'll talk about it if you need to.
I was just putting it off basically. And it just like, it just ended, and it was just like, I felt like I'd been isolated from everyone, and it was just like, it was so, I'm not going to go into it because it's like, it is what it is. But that was, I think, the point where I went, it was like the changing point. And I had a lot of people around us, but that was probably my low, even though I got bullied and like horrendously bullied, that in 2021 with like getting the breakup, that is the lowest I've ever been.
That's like it's the first mental. Like, was it your first proper like girlfriend or?
Yeah, I've had a girlfriend, but I think that was my first serious 3 years. You're thinking you're sitting down with
exactly the same.
You're like, oh, well, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person.
The first one always hits like, because you think that, don't you? Because it was like that when I was with, because you never had a girlfriend. It was when I was with my first girlfriend. I've been with her for about a year, and it was literally, I think it happened like, it happened not long before we started the podcast. Actually, it happened in, I want to say May of last year. I think no, it wasn't. It was later in the year. It was like maybe October, so it maybe just started. Because I remember the same day that it happened, I was at a game for Gretna, and we went deep into Scotland. It was freezing. We lost 6-0, and I was like, "Well, fuck me, it doesn't get better. It doesn't get worse than this, does it?" Like, I've been with her for a year. Absolutely, I thought it was absolutely incredible. And then literally just one day, randomly out of nowhere, like a ton of bricks, and I was just like,
"Oh, that's what I used to look at." I was in 2021, like the difference, like look how skinny I am.
No,
okay. But that's what I mean, like that sense, like that boy. Like I always look back and think,
who is that?
Who is that? And from then,
but that shows the growth, though, doesn't it?
The growth was like, it was just such it's horrible. It's like, it does make you grow. And like now I'm just like,
as a person, differently.
Yeah. And I look back in that photo of us, and I just think, fucking hell, if me had appeared then and gone, this is what's gonna, like, this is what's got for you, you'd just be like, oh my God, brilliant. And I've always got to think that, like, when I'm at the gym, it's like body dysmorphia. I always look and think, God, you're still skinny, but it's like, I look and go, Dan, you're not skinny, like, you're not.
Well, the size of him, but now, look at that bicep, got bicep, you're going to be thugs.
No, but you want to be like, kind of, you've got to look back and go, look where you've come from. So my mentality for everything is like, if I'm ever if I'm in the gym, if I'm in whatever at work, I'm in environments that are tough, I'll do it. I did a charity run that year, actually. That was the change, I think. I did a Talking Town. I had to do about 14 laps of Talking Town. Running, I was fucked. Or something like that. I was doing it for, Adam was doing it with us, and a lad we saw over called Chris, and they had to leave at like 9 laps or something like that. And I was like, it was raining. I was aching to fuck, and I was like, I don't know if I can be asked doing this. And I'd raised money for charity, and I was like, should I come back the next day?
That's mentality though, isn't it?
And I thought, I need to do it. And I just kept going, and I would stop every so often, just maybe on the bench, the blisters and that. And then I did it all. And I actually think, looking back, I think that was the complete change in my life. Because I think that was where I got a mentality. I was like, I'm not having like,
I've only started running really like this year. Like I used to hate it. You know what I mean? One of my closest mates lives in Marbella, and they trained for a half marathon in Barcelona in February.
All right.
And I did my first 10K in January with them, and one of my mates back here in Penrith 5K, and then February I started doing it, and I'm doing a half marathon in Ibiza on Saturday, my first one.
Oh yeah, I saw about that.
Yeah, raising money for Cash for Kids and stuff.
Oh.
And that's really helped my mentality of like, when you're out there, I listen to a podcast and by yourself, and it's like, I want to stop. Fucking hard, but you keep on going. I find the first 5-6K the hardest, and then after that it's like easy because you just go and go. You get that runner's high after and stuff. So
the running's definitely like this. Like I didn't want to. Actually, you said that. I had headphones in, my phone died, and I was like,
oh, mate,
I'm gonna have to do this. The rip
in your own head.
I don't know if I could do that.
Your own thoughts.
Someone else around.
You're a better man than me.
I need to fucking do this. And I got home and I was absolutely buzzing myself. Fucked. Like, but I was like absolutely buzzing with that. But yeah, that's definitely like, I think a mentality is like, if someone's got a good mentality, it's like not untouchable, but they are like that is a very, like that is something to have.
Great personality.
It's such like a thing that people go, oh, yeah, I've got a good mentality. It's like, yeah, but you almost have to be like a monster mentality. And I like to say that I've got that. Like I like to build that and just like mentality monster. Like I'll be like constantly to use like when we're training. I like Adam was like, my cousin was struggling on the last bit, and I was like, I'm just going to go and run it with them. I've already done my bit, but I thought I'm going to run with them. Give it support.
I just did
it. You were like, I'm not doing it. I was like, I'm going to, because it's like, if I get there next to them, they think, right, I've got someone to run with us. And it's not about kind of, that's just in my head now. I'm like, you want to help other people, you want to do that. But yeah, in the long, that was a long way around to go. I've got a good mentality. Great strengths, man.
You can't cheat yourself. That's the thing.
No, of course. You just got to do the best for yourself, can't you?
Right, so then who is the podcast for? If somebody's listening to this that's say not from your audience already, if they're thinking, oh, it might be a bit of me, who just think it's perfect for?
Probably a cliche answer, but anyone and everyone really that likes football. If you're into football, just watch us. It's
demographics always like it's teenagers in like early 20s, but absolutely everyone can watch it. Like have an open mind when you watch it. Like don't ever think it's going to be
put it this
10 out of 10 production, 10 out of 10 like how we speak and talk. It's literally two lads sit down, have a crack, and with a guest of some sort, whatever that is.
The way I see it is, if you can come over to us and speak to us before the Carlisle matches, you'll probably like the podcast because it's the exact same. It's just a conversation of like, we'll come on, we'll give each other a bit of grief, like for the crack. We'll talk to our guest. You hear some really interesting stories. We recently had John Coleman on from the News and Star, who's been working Carlisle United in football for years now, and he's got some absolutely incredible stories. And so it's like giving yourself kind of that experience as well, kind of talk to people like that. And
and the guests are only going to get bigger and better. Like that's how I can look at it. We need to put ourselves out. I've said about we need to push ourselves out there and just I've messaged loads of different people. Like, and if you don't get a reply, you don't get a reply. But I just rather put it out there and go, what's this about? And
keep pestering.
You know, all you need is that one guest that'll go, I'll do you a favour. Yeah, come on. They come on, and all of a sudden it's just people are like, what's this about? And then, have you been on that podcast? Yeah, you do. You know, I think the Edmondson one was what it opened up for, especially for the players. Players side, they're like, actually.
Because that kind of opened the gap between like the fans and the players kind of thing. Like since then,
I'd say the club needs to have that barrier. They have to have the fan channels, all the fans, and the players. They need to have that interaction if we're going to be that.
And to be fair, the club, they were very good. And when we were interviewing the owners, they gave us they put us in one of the boxes at Brunton Park and let us do it in there. So that was really good of them. But we have had maybe one or two like teething issues in the past trying to like kind of get through to the club and kind of schedule guests to get them sorted. But it's all part of it, and they're protective of their players. That's completely understandable. But I think
because it's new, but not loads of like
now that we've had a few of them on though, I think it's like
it's a new thing for the club. Like Carlisle have never had a podcast where they've let the players go on and talk. They've never had that ever, and that's when I think
not the current players at least.
No, definitely not the current player. Like current, and I think the fact that we were getting them on, I think they were like, oh, what's this going to be? And obviously, season had been brilliant, and they're like, are they going to bring them on? They're going to ask them the hardest questions and slate them on. Tell us all the crack about whoever and tell us this. It was just like, We got him in. We had, and I think that is my favourite interview we've done.
What with Edmondson?
I love Chatzzz, but I feel like it was just like, with Chatzzz was like sitting down with the pal. Whereas Edmondson was like, I was
all listening to some of the stuff he was saying. He was talking about when he was at Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa was there and the
England set up with Saka and all that.
England youth team with Saka, 32,000 people on Ellen Road on the last day of the season. Like, it was just some of the stories.
Australian now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's playing for Central Coast Mariners. I think it is. Yeah, I think they played today actually. But yeah, well, I mean, they're enough. It's like, I always wake up and they've already played the game, so I'll just check the results, see if it's scored or out like that. But yeah, because it was kind of, there was like a murmur of it around the club that he was going to go to Australia, and I was like, it was so far fetched. I was like, what a chance. But the guy managing the team over there used to be his youth coach at Leeds, so I think he's like, they've made that connection through there. But he's doing well for himself. He
seems to enjoy his football again. Which
Definitely.
Enjoy his life.
That was always it. The thing I saw with Ryan when he was at the club is like, he was one of the players you could tell just get absolutely everything for like the badge. And in modern football, that's quite hard to come across. I think it's obviously it's always been like a money based game, but it is now more than ever with how inflated it is. It's a very like,
you sometimes just need them players on the pitch.
Yeah,
you sometimes need a few passionate players on the pitch, even though people might say his quality wasn't there, but at the end of the day, he's 21. So
that's exactly.
They're still learning the game. Like,
you could be the crappiest footballer ever if you actually care about putting that shirt on and playing. I don't care. I'll have my thing. It's literally it.
Where can people find you, follow you, subscribe?
YouTube, Instagram, Twitter,
TikTok.
Follow our personal accounts.
We're almost at 1,000 on TikTok.
That's cool.
We're far away from 700 on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, that's the other one. We're really close to 700 on YouTube. If we can push to 1,000 on YouTube this year, that'll be absolutely class.
Yeah, folks on TikTok 100%. I think you should do them interviews.
It's the thing, isn't it? It's the new kind of place to go.
One for the YouTube, definitely.
Yeah, of course. We'll do it for one of the. Well, I said the next games to go to. I'm not at the next Carlisle game, and because I'm at Gretna on the last day of the season for that big game.
Actually, because that seems like. I mean, I've had a season ticket this year, but it's like I thought it'd be something to play for. I'll go and support them. The fact we're going up to play on the pitch for the
exactly. It'll help you meet the people at the club as well that we're going to be.
I'm going to Derby the weekend after, so I'll be vlogging that.
Derby can't do it. Are you vlogging that? Yeah,
I'm going to vlog it. Out.
Do some interview there if you can. Then maybe we'll just go from there. I suppose.
I'll see.
See if you can be about the
Right, everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment your favourite part. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.